Sandra Ahlgrimm with me with a talk from Zero to Hero, Java on Azure integration with IntelliJ IDEA. Let me introduce Sandra a little bit. So she is a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft, specializing in supporting Java developers, and also she's a leader in several tech communities like Berlin JUG and then Berlin Docker Meetup, and also a participant in several program committees for JCon, Devox UK, and Berlin Expert Days. So today we are going to start with setting up the development environment in IntelliJ IDEA. Then we will create an application in Azure, and that's all gonna be done without any slides. This all is gonna be live, so let's pray for demo gods and get started. So Sandra, please.
Welcome everyone, thanks for being with us. So as he said, we first wanted to just jump up, and I will start with the clean project and we will see what we have. And then I also have an AI project prepared for you. It's the same sample that I used at Devox Belgium. It's very good that you had Lisa before, so you're already a Lang-Chain4j expert. We also have Spring AI attached here. It's all deployed to the Azure cloud using container apps. We will see what results we get. And it's also kind of a story, but I will share it later. So first off, I have my screen here. It's IntelliJ IDEA. I installed this one. I would totally go with the ultimate version. You do have the free trial, so why not go for this one? And then I can create a new project. Here it suspects that I will use Spring Boot, but what could be a good thing to do? So this one would go with start.spring.io. I could also select a Maven archetype one, or I go with more via plugins. Okay, so why don't we go with the Spring one? But I want Maven because I'm not that crazy. Okay, so I go that one, and then I can select the developer tools. So here I might want to have GuiVM support because it's a great thing to do, very sustainable, and to always compile to the smallest option. And it works very well with container apps because it also scales down to 0 and will be back immediately. So I might want this one, and then potentially I also want Spring Web, so I can use REST services. There's also Spring Cloud, which is important for monitoring, and a bunch of others. And there's also here Microsoft Azure. And what I like is if there's a version mismatch, it will tell me, so I can already select the Snapchat version that is supported. Should be like that one. And then I can also have the Azure support here. And don't worry, it will come soon also to have the newest versions. Okay, so now it's set me up the project. So let me go full screen. Is it big enough already, or should I make it bigger?
I guess if you zoom in a little bit, the best way is to, yes.
Okay, so I go presentation.
Or just zoom. You can zoom on the whole IDE with a zoom command.
Do you want me?
No, I mean like shift, then you put zoom.
Also, okay. Zoom. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's even better. Okay, I already have the 125.
I would go for 150.
Okay, sure. Let us know in the comments what you would like.
Because I actually don't see the code right now. So I'm
Oh, don't worry.
Here.
We can just do different ones.
Thank you.
So what I like, you have the MD files, so you can watch this one. You always also have an IntelliJ, the nice view attached, so you can use what you want. With the Azure Toolkit, I have here my Azure Explorer, so I can see what services I already have deployed. And also a few others I might want to use later. Okay, so let's close that one. And here's my demo application, which currently does basically nothing. And now let's see if I can, what I can do here. So I think we can just run it. Or anything else you want me to do here?
You can run it.
Yeah. And if I don't know what to do, I can also So here I selected my subscription. So first time you open the Azure Toolkit, you will have to log in. I'm already logged in here, so you don't have to watch me doing that. And then we do have tutorials in place. So if you're like me, stuck in what should I do next, We also have here the getting started guides. So here, for instance, you can go on try Azure OpenAI, or you can deploy your first container app to Azure or web app, or the first function. So for instance, with OpenAI, I can, for instance, click on try it, and then it would, okay, we can also do that. Select the subscription, and then it will here create a new Azure OpenAI instance for me. And then this one had been deployed, so I can now try within AI Playground, which is pretty cool. And obviously my screen at home is a bit bigger. So, and then I here have my system message, and I can play around a bit with AI. And for instance, so I do have a 3-year-old at home, and he's totally into tractors and dinosaurs. And whenever I bring him to bed in the evening, he wants to hear favorite tractor stories. We do have books, obviously, but he wants new stories. So, and I got created at the beginning, but now I'm totally cheating. So I'm always be like, is the voice activation working? Okay, anyhow, so please tell me a bedtime story with tractors and a T-Rex for a 3-year-old. And please also put the age, because otherwise you might get results which are not really suitable for kids. Okay, so let's see if that's already working. Okay, great. So they do have a 400, so let's see what's going on. Who didn't pray for the demigods here? So I do have this deployment. Okay, we can also open that up in the portal. Great. Okay, and then we do have the Foundry portal, and as you see, it looks the same, just light theme here. You can also change the theme if you want, and potentially the deployment creation didn't work that good, so why don't we deploy a new one? Confirm. It's always a good practice to use the global standard deployment type, because then it first will create it in your region, but if there's no resources available and AI usage can become very resource heavy at some point, then it can just select another resource location. So if the resource location is not important to you, you can switch. Okay. So I will deploy that here. And now I should have the same possibility as I did before. So let's just copy that and type here. Okay, so it will come up with a story. Very nice. And when I'm like, yeah, and this one can also talk to me. Okay, so I can then start reading it to him. Like, for instance, this one starts, and tiny tractor, speedy tractor, and big wag tractor. Okay, and then my son may be like, oh no, one of the tractors should be named Brian. Can even say it. Oh no, this one can even tell me what it is. Oh, that's so nice. So I can even make it tell the story. So just imagine I might be even too tired to even tell the story. Okay, let's get back to my favorite IDE for big projects and see. I can still not switch. So usually you should also be able to do this inside that one, but great. It's always something, right? Okay, and you can also change the configuration. For instance, you want to shrink the max response or the temperature, just like the creativity index. Yeah, so there are a few items you might want to play with. When it comes to professional development for AI, I'm not really comfortable if like giving the user like a text input where you can basically put everything in. I'm a huge fan of limiting the user input possibilities. So let's go to the other demo. Okay. So we created a demo which is like, in my point of view, more business relevant, where, okay, I can reopen in container, okay. Great, that looks promising for our demigods thing. So here we do have a UI, an API gateway, and then we do have 3 services. And what I want is, so as I said, I do have kids, so I do have too many things. And yeah, I know. And be honest, you also have those where you have a room where you just put things that are not needed in the moment. And then what are you going to do with it? And you might want to sell those. But it's a kind of difficult exercise to do because you have to like take a picture, then you need to write a description, right? Find a title, estimate the cost of it, and or let them bet on it, and then you also need to handle the selling. But for me, mostly I do the pictures and that's it. So I'm a bit kind of done. So what I did here, so this is also available on GitHub at Azure Samples /Java-AI. And we come with infrastructure. So if you want to set it up yourself, because I think you're going to love it, we have the infra folder, which is providing the bicep files, almost like Terraform. So you do have the infrastructure as code. It will create the container apps for us, an Azure OpenAI instance. It will all be totally secure because it will use managed identities for us. It will also come with the network for my services to play together nicely. So I did that. So I just went in, and then as written in the README file, was doing azd auth login and azd up. And then it was putting that all on Azure for me. So let's see, here's my Azure. And I put that in the container apps environment. And yes, you can see I have a few things that I'm playing with. So and here's like my image process server, the UI dev, the gateway, and other things. I should have put those in a shorter URL as well. So here's the app up and running. And now I can just upload a picture and then sell it.
So will it post the thing on like somewhere? I mean, like you upload the picture, it looks for prices, names it, adds description, and posts to a website like Kleinanzeigen or something else.
So the last step is still missing. I
Okay.
should talk to my friends at Kleinanzeigen or something to have it because, yeah, as I said, I really need it. So currently, you put in your picture, and then let's do this because it might take some moment for the AI to understand and process.
Yeah, but and while it processes stuff,
Yeah.
so I've just noticed that you've been amazed by the ability of AI thingy to read the story. So basically, when comes the time when you actually automate stories generation, which are generated by AI and then read by AI, and we get children raised by AI, in fact, I am like, you know.
But I would have first to need, you can do that, right? So you do have the voice, which is AI generated, but you can also train it with your own voice.
Yes.
And being an advocate, you have enough content of me.
Yeah.
I think, luckily not enough German content because my kids still prefer me to speak German at home. But for English content, we are almost getting there where I could.
I mean, like, speaking about German or English, I used one of the services, I don't remember the name of it, which actually translated me into Chinese.
Oh, really?
With perfect Mandarin accent.
Oh, that's so great.
I've been watching it totally devastated because I would believe I am speaking Chinese. So I don't even think about the difficulty about translating you into German. It might sound like not your German, but it will be German enough for your kids.
Oh, I think they will recognize.
They will, but a story every day then, though. But let's go back to the demo.
Okay, yeah, because it's
sorry.
already done.
I hope I didn't interrupt you too much.
No, all good. I actually also can't wait to... So I want AI to do the boring stuff for me, right? So not saying that reading to my kids is boring, just in case somebody listens, but I'm just, trying to make use of it. Okay, so here I only uploaded the picture, right? I didn't put anything else. And it gives me the name, so Nintendo Switch console bundle with games. That looks very accurate. It's from Nintendo, it's a Switch, It comes with a price estimation of 300, and also the description is this is a used Nintendo Switch console bundle that includes the console, Joy-Con controllers, dock power adapter, 4 games, or even knows the games, Animal Crossing, and another game. Okay. The console is in good working condition with some signs of wear. Okay, not sure if you say it like that, but fine enough. And the bundle also includes a carrying case. This is great package for everyone looking to get started with the Nintendo. Oh yeah, it's even better than I would if I would have written it. Category video games, first level. Okay, that's yeah, potentially the best matching one. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And then I also want notifications. Cool. So if I submit it, I will even get things. That's nice. Okay. So it actually allows me to save that one. Why don't we do that? Cool. So yeah, I really like that one. So should we look into the code how we did that? Oh, let's see if I can also get more here. So we did have a storage account where we have to store the picture because I need to use AI twice. So, and also I need to show the picture on the web page. So we had to store it somewhere. So here's my storage account. And here I can see my container. And here I can actually see a screenshot that might have been used before. Oh, I can't open it here, fine. But here you can see that the images are shared, which is kind of cool. Like, you know, it would also work the same way with other databases. And I really like the fact that I can just open the Azure Explorer and see what's inside. And it works the same for other databases. And if I have a real database, such as Postgres or Azure Database for Redis, for Postgres, I can also run queries. It's kind of very cool. And yeah, and as I open the container app, it also gives me with an overview. So I see the provisioning status is succeeded. This one is running in single revision mode and gives me also the name and also the container app environment. Also, I can see what profile I'm on. So this one is in consumption based, so I only pay for what I need. It's in that subscription in Sweden Central, so very close by. And also when it got created and what's the traffic. Also the target port I could even change. I have the ingress. So I really like the fact that I don't really have to leave my IDE. I can just do everything from here, which is pretty cool. You can also check how it's looking like from here. So here's also the gateway. Yeah, and here you can also see other ports and potentially also for the blob storage. Okay, so you can basically see here how it's done and how they are connected. Yeah. Okay. Do we have questions in the chat already?
Yeah, we actually do have a couple.
Yeah.
So the first one is a big question for JetBrains employees, but I've read the question and it's not just for us, it's also for you too. So do you think in the next 5 to 10 years AI will replace us developers or not? Appreciate any of you could or would want to answer it.
Sure.
So I guess we should. I do believe it actually already affects number of developers, but will it completely replace developers? I'm not sure personally. No,
Yeah.
Sandra, your opinion.
I also would disagree that it will replace developers, not only because I am a developer and like my job, but also I would see it as it's just another tool. So I would also see it as the invention of the calculator for mathematics. I guess we had more people working in math and doing calculations, and then the calculator got invented. Things got more easy for everyone to calculate, and now
and the quality of calculations actually raises.
Oh, true.
So in the end, in the same as for robots on any industrial car production, for example, we got less people doing manual work, but then we got more cars produced, and the quality of cars actually increases. And there are still people working, Usually people are needed at least for checking the result.
And now also with calculators, to stick with the math example,
Yeah.
it just got more advanced.
Of
So
course, yeah.
we've been able to do more advanced math, which helped us getting to quantum computing and computer science in general. So I'm like very happy about that evolution. So I kind of try to embrace it and just see it as another tool that can be used to get even better results and to get more things done.
Yeah, so basically I do believe that like the community of humans actually wants to produce more than to, like, it's more tend to producing more things and not really objects, but like stuff, knowledge, I don't know, like and other things, rather than reducing like effort. So we basically, with AI, we can create more knowledge when we actually like look for it not being hallucinative or something, and so on and so on. So basically it is a tool. And why does everyone is afraid to be changed or replaced with a tool? I don't know. Well, that's definitely my own opinion, and I don't like represent JetBrains' opinion here. So that's how I see it. Even as a person who sees like developers' tools created, both, and we still keep developing tools for normal non-AI development. That's just because we believe developers will be with us for a long time.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so there is more questions actually. So,
Okay.
and there is one, not as like, not as abstract as the previous one. So, do you plan an integration of Azure Service Bus with IntelliJ? Some kind of UI to check the messages?
Yeah, so we do have an integration. Here is unfortunately no service. But let's see if we do have a sample project that we can just sneak in and clone it into the repository to show it off quickly.
Yeah,
Is it doing it? Browse samples. Wants me to open in browser. But it says clone. Oh, potentially I have to say which directory. Okay, so just stay here and clone. Already exists and not an empty directory. Okay, okay, okay. Let's do that better. Okay, okay. Let's create a new folder. Repos. Okay, great. Fine.
So answering the question, there is no plan. It is already.
Yes.
It is here.
Yeah,
It
and
exists.
if you have issues with that one and you're not really happy with that, just let me know. Yeah, I'm in developer relations, so I'm always happy to see product feedback, and we really listen to that one. So I trust the project. Okay, so here's like a getting started thing, and here's how to run it. So it wants me to just clean and exec. Okay. Okay. We can try. Obviously I haven't tried that one, so but why not?
So that's actually what we said, in the, what I actually posted in the chat in the very beginning of the talk. So if you want something which was not planned to, like something within this session, it is possible to try with Sandra doing it first time on screen. So
Yeah, because I'm like, why not? Why not? What could go possibly wrong? I always got also the feedback that people appreciate me being struggled, because then they're like, oh yeah, that's also happening to others if they struggle at home and then nothing
to
happens.
everyone.
Totally.
It happens to everyone. Each time I try to go step by step any tutorial, something goes wrong because
Okay.
something wasn't pre-configured or something wasn't something changed compared to the tutorial, which is 1 month old or something. So I mean, I do love seeing things not going perfectly perfect in demos because it feels like I'm seeing reality.
Yeah. Okay. So it also says me things that I should do, things in Azure Explorer. Okay, okay. So, and then I would, oh, let's see. You can manage them in Azure Explorer after signing in and send messages, monitor, integrated Azure Service Bus Explorer. So the answer is, yeah, it is there, but it's not really, So yeah, I guess I will still have to create in the Azure portal and then I can view it. Okay, fine, fair enough.
So, but the integration actually is here, so,
Yeah.
but we need a service on the cloud side.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Thanks. The next one is just by curiosity. Can you instruct Azure AI to create another application to test your AI shop with the top 10 OWASP vulnerabilities?
The what?
The OWASP, I'm not sure. So I guess that's kind of type of vulnerability.
Oh,
here.
vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the question. So can we instruct Azure AI to create another application to test your AI? I believe that AI Shop is the service which generates.
Oh, it's the app that we created.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So can we test it for vulnerabilities with the AI instruction?
Potentially.
I guess
so the question was if
you can either show it or answer it.
He wants
so
to see me
I don't know.
it.
I don't know if they want to see you, but here is the question in its full. So we can just comment on it, or you can showcase if you are brave enough, depending on you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or and also we have like some time going on. So if you have something to share, except this, we could stick to your plan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so in theory, yes, you can create an app which is trying to hijack my app. You can see the URL on the screen, so if you're like fast enough, just go for it. It's an Azure Container app. It scales automatically for me. At some point it might get a little bit expensive, but that's all that it does. And also we have DDoS attack protection, so try your best. I feel very secured under our application gateway or behind our application gateway. So I'm fine with you testing it. Go for it. So that's a cat. We do have a cat. What if somebody tries to sell the cat? Speaking of like a responsible AI and things. Oh, okay. So this one is not allowed. So they don't allow my husband to sell our cats because it's not allowed, and it's a domestic cat, and also explains you why you can't sell your cat. I feel that's pretty decent. So sale of animals, including domestic cats, is not allowed on this platform. Selling animals online can lead to unethical practices, improper care, and potential harm to the animals. It is important to ensure that animals are adopted through proper channels that prioritize their well-being and health.
Well,
so I think that's kind of nice.
As a cat person, I approve.
Yeah, we really need to check what we do with our animals, right? So again, behind the back, my service was taking the image, sending it to the block storage. OpenAI was analyzing it, finding that it is a cat, and then the responsive, in Azure OpenAI, we do have responsible AI, so it also checks if something is inappropriate. You can do this with the prompts as well, but using some services might be even safer to go double safe option here. So what if I try to say like this play thing here? Okay, seems to be not allowed, even if it's a toy gun. Interesting. Okay, so maybe there could be a false positive here.
Yeah.
So double checking might be helpful. Okay, interesting. So
but can you actually ask it to review it? So you might have an interface to talk to the AI working on your pictures, right?
Yeah,
so
but
can you like ask it to, this is not a real gun, this is a toy, so please review it and post it.
I think in this one it's not possible.
Okay, got
We
it.
could just try to upload it again, or we do another picture of it from a different angle and just hope that it doesn't look too realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, it stays with
Yeah,
another
okay, it
artist
sees
here.
something which it feels not appropriate to.
Yeah. So
to
that,
sell.
yeah, but that's more a business decision, I would say, because when we programmed the app, we were like, no, if it's inappropriate, we don't want them to sell it. Yeah.
It makes total sense. I mean, I'm just commenting stuff for people because,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
But I've seen you've got more examples in.
Yeah, I also have a real gun, but then now it's like, or kind of real gun, because this one is actually an airsoft gun, but it looks very real. So yeah, okay, so obviously this item is restricted to sell as expected, so this is a positive, so to say.
I'm not really.
What about
I don't know the laws in United States, but if somewhere selling this type of things is allowed, could you make regional I don't know, like regional fine tuning for that?
Of course you could.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Then you would just have to. Okay, it depends where you are, right? Because in order to do regional practices, you would need to know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And then you need to check
Yeah.
if you're allowed to know where the request is coming from.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because and then after that, people will start using VPN to actually hijack the regional stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's a complicated question. Sorry.
So what about that one?
We need screen.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So I
Okay,
was just
not allowed.
uploading a toddler thing. And obviously it's a smart one, right? So it would obviously not think that I'm trying to sell any kids. It's coming up a toddler blue short sleeve shirt, unknown brand for 5 years. Yeah, in a blue collar. Yeah, okay, fine. And it's in fashion category for kids and even toddler. That's kind of nice. Okay, so I can save that one as well. Pretty cool. So we created all this in IntelliJ, the whole apps, of course.
Here is one question. So
Oh, yes.
can we download files from a storage account from the Azure integration in IntelliJ or navigate inside the Kubernetes PVCs?
Can we download files?
Yeah, so I do believe that you've been showing that we can actually go into the Docker image,
Yeah.
then see files there which we have uploaded.
Yeah.
So can we download these files from
Oh,
IntelliJ
interesting
IDEA?
questions. So you want to see if from container app I can get my app back?
Yeah, please fix me if I'm wrong. That's how I got your question.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can do this. So we can activate also here the different revisions. So if we redeploy, we can also go back and do like. Okay, no, I don't think so.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Also how it works behind the scenes for every container based deployment. How it should work is you containerize your app and then you push your image in a registry. So we used Azure Container Registry here, and then the container registry will give me the image, and that is being deployed to container apps. And it's also the good way to do, because if I see zero traffic, it will also scale down to 0. And I like that specifically about that app, because if I'm not in the mood, if I'm not in my cellar selling things, it can totally scale down to 0, free the resources so other people can use it in that time.
Yeah, so there is also a comment from a person who asked the question about downloading a file.
Okay.
I recall having issues in Ubuntu. IntelliJ asked me for a new tool to explore those files. So I do believe that IntelliJ IDEA might not be the best file explorer in terms of working within the container, but basically, yeah, it looks like it's more focused on like access than the file management, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on a Mac. I do have a Windows machine at home. I'm already switching between 2 OS. So I'm kind of sorry. I'm currently not.
No
Ubuntu.
Linux folks here. Sorry.
If you know the answer, you can use the comments. Otherwise, we have to get back to you later. Okay.
Yep. So now we are out of questions at the moment. So
Cool.
do we have anything else to see?
Of course, we have 24 minutes left, so why don't we go back to the code? Also kind of always expecting this. So super great. So obviously, or looks like my project JDK is not defined. So let's set up the SDK. And we also do have the Microsoft Open JDK now here being present kind of recently for the new version. Thank you guys for working with us. So here's the image processing service. And as you can see, we have a different prompt class. This one is in a Java file. You can also put it in another text file. You could also, in theory, put it in another repository that would allow you to have other people working on it than developers. So here we give it like a user prompt. So, and also the system prompt. So you are an expert in the field of e-commerce and you have been asked to provide a description of an item that is available for sale. You act as a professional that is at the service of a customer to describe objectively the item that is available. And then we also add things for the description. And it's kind of also easy how we wanted the structured outputs. So we tell it what our selling platform would need, like the brand, the model, the size, and we can do it all in text, which is kind of cool. And then we just provided examples in order for the AI to understand better what we wanted. And then it's basically just a REST service here. And that one is using Spring AI. So we here have the Spring item info. And then, it's just a small demo. So we just put everything here, say which deployment name, and what else. Okay. And then it will even save the URL for us. Yeah.
So did you generate the prompt with AI?
For the prompt consent?
Yes. Because like when I need such a prompt, when I know that here comes the ChatGPT, I need some kind of good result from ChatGPT, the first thing I do is please generate a good prompt for yourself. I need this exact result. And then we start modifying it together. So
Yes.
What's your approach here?
Yes, that's also our approach. So why not, right? We do have those AI features. Is it Copilot or AI assistants or Junie? You just, work with that one. And if the result is good and makes you faster and more productive, why not using them?
Yeah, it's not about why not. It's more like when I saw the first time a person using AI to generate AI prompt, I was like, oh well, that's kind of smart, right? Because the boilerplate is the first thing which should be replaced from humans to AI. It's my opinion again. So I do believe that I don't want to do boilerplate stuff. And I want AI to do boilerplate stuff. And writing a huge prompt is actually a boilerplate because I understand what I want. And the concept is easily transferable in one sentence. But if I want a specific result, I need to explain it really extensively. So, yeah.
That's so true. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back and in potentially the next service. So we do have the AI shop here. And interesting. Now it's only showing me the image processing service. Good. And hides the rest for me. Okay. Let's see if yeah, everything else. So this one is just a basic UI where we used TypeScript for, and then we do have the blob storage service, which will just save the image for us. So I think there's also no AI. Just to show it how you would do such a thing. So here's just a basic REST controller written in Spring, and it gives me the container name with the endpoint and resource controller. And so I'm kind of lazy person, so I was always where the code explains itself. It kind of did because AI was able to generate the comments for us. And then you just, recheck if it's correct. And then it uploads the file here to the blob storage. So yeah, again, why not using it if it's helpful?
Definitely we should. because it's better to have AI generated and checked. And I guess we should stress it together. It's like it is an important thing that any AI output is like any AI output must be checked by an competent human. Because this is actually the I'm sorry, I hope I'm not hijacking your
No,
session.
I'm all good. It's so
Yeah,
great to
so-
have a conversation.
Yeah, because there is like this philosophical question of who takes responsibility if AI does something. Well, usually it's a human which brought the result of AI into real life.
Yeah.
So basically, if you publish your code, for example, in your repo, be it AI generated or not, it's you are the person who published it, for example. And then it means you are checking stuff, right? That's again my view on this topic. So yeah, when you're using AI generated code or comments or documentation, just make sure it works. I mean, like it is correct. It doesn't like it has no objective mistakes and so on and so on.
True, true. Okay, and then we do have here the category service where we have an AI service with an assistant. And then the REST controller, you do have again just a simple REST controller with very nice documentation. And we use all of it. And then you can see how the subcategories are basically all filled for you and found. So it's pretty straightforward to be programmed. Yeah. And also we like deleting what's not needed. So pretty cool. Yes, so what do you want to do next? So we created the project in IntelliJ IDE. We saw that there are tutorials out there that you can try to, for your first thing. You can obviously also clone projects from the internet. You can deploy them with simple commands such as azd app, and then you can play around with that one. Okay. We don't have questions in the chat?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Not
great,
yet.
great, great. So,
Dear chat, let us know if you are still there.
otherwise, yeah, why don't we play around? So I have a function app thing.
Could you?
So-
Oh, here comes one. Could
Yeah.
you debug your code that is deployed with a breakpoint? Could you debug the code that is deployed with a breakpoint? I do believe it is like the question about
if it's
like
actually running, right?
if
Yeah, let's see if it's actually running. So here it is. And now they want to just run somewhat. Oh yeah, one of the REST services, for instance. And then we might have to set some environment variables to make it work. Okay. Because it doesn't seem that it could run it, right? It's also not
yeah, I do
understanding
believe
it.
because it runs not on your machine, right? So and it is not just a server running some. It is a cloud. It runs in cloud, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
the
need
app
to
is
use-
currently running in the cloud.
We actually
yeah.
need to use the remote debugger, and I
Yeah.
do believe this is part of our remote
Yes.
like development setup. So
Yeah.
you basically need a little bit more complex setup to debug code that runs in the cloud. But IntelliJ platform actually provides. By IntelliJ platform, I mean IntelliJ IDEs actually provide you with such functionality. But yeah, it needs some configuration and also specific installations on both client side and the cloud side.
Okay. So we will have to get back to you and provide you with that sample very soon.
That's
because
a
now
great
you got
topic
me interested.
for next IntelliJ IDEA Conf.
Yeah, totally, totally. That's a really great one. And I also like the way how the databases are integrated into IntelliJ, that I can check what's there on the spot. So that's super cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's the same. If the database is remote, you will need remote toolkit.
The remote toolkit. Okay. I'm also not really sure why it's not being able to understand my current code, because I would also love to run it locally, but live demos. Okay. So let's see. Because that one is working. Okay, potentially because I selected 21 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can download Java 17, right? JDK. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I really like the shift feature. It always helps me finding things, because otherwise I would be totally lost, because I usually can't remember, and also UI changes sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically I started using shift for almost anything I need to, because it searches everywhere, so yeah, you don't have to remember stuff. Yeah, so there is actually a discussion about the remote debugging, and so yes, I want to, folks, I won't be reading your names because it's gonna look weird. So the whole discussion is about how it works specifically with Azure, and then it depends that Azure says about the remote debugging. Does it allow it or not for security things? Yeah, but actually, as far as I know, clouds allow debugging, and Azure is a great cloud which works and allows most of the things you need. So basically, yes, what you want to see, and you might want to play around because your demos are available at GitHub, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you actually might try to download the GitHub project, run it by yourself in Azure, and then try to debug it. And to do this, you will need to actually set up a remote debugger. And if it doesn't work, contact us, let us know, and we will fix it. The more feedback we get, the faster we fix stuff.
Okay, that's a good one. So yeah, so the project is here on github.com, Azure Samples, Java -AI. It's a bit small, unfortunately, but yeah, you can find it here. Oops. There you go. So there's the overall project, and yeah, I would be very interested to see how it's working. And yeah, and now you totally got me interested. So we do also have like a YouTube channel which is called Java on Azure, and I will totally make a sample for that one and upload it very soonish, so we can check how the remote debugging is working. Because yeah, that could be interesting, especially if I have those. Yeah, but usually I don't really do remote debugging. So when I have like a microservice architecture, I would deploy the services that are running, and then I would only use the one container app or the one Azure function that I'm currently working on, and that one I would run locally and debug and make sure that it is connected to my cloud resources. And that does work. I have managed identities, so it does authenticate for me in the background, so we are very securely doing it. So yeah, I think, yeah, we don't really, I'm not sure how I would debug code running in production. So usually I would do like that, and being in the quality environment.
Yeah, I guess we have our folks here. So if you have a specific use case, not just like let's debug something in cloud, if you would explain your use case, we would be able to comment on it.
And a feature, talking about security, there also like a lot is like, we also just released another blog post. And so we do have secure authentication, and I also tried it, it's actually working. So when I create something new, like a document builder, and I will just put my key credentials in plain text, it will already say don't do that. So it's not allowed, and you can't check it in, you can't save the file like that. So you will have to be forced in using environment variables, which is a good thing to do for security reasons. So I really like that one. And it also comes with like asynchronous programming best practices, such here as, it will already tell you, as we already had service bus friends, that I can block this one and switch to a synchronous API instead. So that's pretty cool. And also even more service bus recommendations. So here's like the async client is detected, so please go for the higher abstraction, which is simplifying everything. Yeah. So that's super cool. So we do get like more real-time feedback, improved code quality, and optimized Azure SDK usage with the latest updates. And it's like very, very new. So it came out April 18th. It's like, yeah, a month ago, but still very happy.
Time flies. it's always like, it's been in April, like a week ago. Oh no. Oh
There
no.
was May. Yes, true. Yeah, but I'm particularly, it's like, it's kind of a no-brainer. Don't store your keys in your code, but then it happens. We just had Microsoft build, and we also had an agent hack at the same time. And then we found the winning teams, and I wanted to make some noise about the winners. And then I checked the code, and there was also a key released, and I was like, oh, well, I guess we should, hide this or delete it, fix it. Don't let their Azure consumption explode. And yeah, so that things happen. We are all human, and sometimes it's very fast. Just terminate a command, and things will be there.
That's a nice feature. I mean, like these sometimes basic checks are much more important than some kind of complicated logic implemented, because making simple mistakes is easier than create a complex system of. So yeah, basically, I do think the feature you've shown is great, and we also have the chat, which I do believe we have a consensus here, because. The comments go for we need just to open the debug port and blah blah blah, and then it makes sense that no, it's not like for you going for that, because like it's like debugging Kubernetes service a bad practice, and then we see yes, but sometimes we don't have all the managed identity locally, so we are very limited. So yeah. I do believe that it might be not microservice architecture. So if there is a service which you can't actually get locally, you need to debug something.
I see. So the issue is that if I don't have the managed identities locally, I can't connect to the services, and that won't work.
Okay.
Oh, guys, thank you for the homework. So that's totally something to explore and to get to later. Yeah.
That's cool. I do have one more question, not from the chat. It was about what are some common mistakes you might notice or observe when Java developers make first deployment to Azure?
Okay, so first off, it's obviously never a mistake to deploy to Azure. I have to say this.
It is.
They pay me. And also, so I think, talking about Kubernetes, I don't know. Some people are just putting everything on Kubernetes, even if it's not needed. So if you just have a back-end, front-end service, I think app service might be just your way to go, because it's just it's our web app hoster. It comes with the API gateway. It comes with passwordless connection to databases. You will have everything in place just by creating it. And if you have like small services, you might also want to check out Azure Container Apps, because it's under the hood, it runs on Kubernetes, I know we call Azure Kubernetes Service a managed service, but then you still have to do configuration and updating, and there are a few things attached to it, and also Kubernetes knowledge needs to be in place, and you need manifests to deploy and to create services around it, and it's all good. I love Kubernetes, being the Docker meetup.
We all do.
Person. But then if I'm a dev, so I just want to create the app and I want to see it running and flying. And for that one, Azure Container Apps usually has my back. So I can create a Java app. I can make it natively deployable using GraalVM, and then I can just upload it to Container Apps, and if I don't use it, it can scale down to 0. If I use it extensively, it will just scale up, and that in milliseconds, so nobody will even see, and leveraging how it's been used. So yeah, those are like the services I really like, and I also think, and we actually do have a learning path, so I think there's like aka.ms/java-learn, I think it is. Yeah, so it's like, so the URL was aka.ms/java-learn, and then it's like get started with Java on Azure. And I think the very first one is, introduction, but then the second one already is choose your right Azure service for deploying your Java app. potentially that would be a good starting
So
point.
the most common mistake is not reading the learn path when you first deploy your Java application on Azure.
I wanted to say, like, who reads the documentation before doing things, but there are people who do
There
read
are
the
people who read.
documentation.
I do.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean, like, usually when I've been reading a book about my car before I started using it. So yeah, I do read documentation for stuff. I'm not a big fan, and I am not alone. Thank you, thank you, Splash Annie. That's great read. Yeah, but basically there are people, and I also know people who are writing documentation, and they are like reading it too.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I appreciate that, because we took a lot of time and effort building this documentation here and all the tutorials. So they're usually built by my team. So you also have one deploy Quarkus on Azure, or to deploy Tomcat. And here's the one of those I created, build a real-time event-driven Java solution in Azure. So here we're deploying 2 Azure functions, like working in an IoT scenario, and then we will store the data to Azure Cosmos DB, and we also have monitoring and logging. So that could also be a nice one to try out.
So
3 minutes left. Damn it, we should have.
So it's get started Java Azure, right?
Yeah. So the short URL is aka.ms/java-learn.
Yeah, I just need this. I would just want to post it in the chat.
Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, wait. Upsala Java-learn, and then I can. Oops.
I mean, like, is it this one? So
because I already have it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just post the full link.
Yeah. You can also put the full link. I don't mind.
Yeah, we have one more question.
Yeah.
I have a very specific ask. Give us a way to change or read config files when passing VM or program arguments in an IntelliJ Java configuration.
Okay, well that's. So you want to change the Java configuration or environment variables?
Arguments in IntelliJ Java configuration. The user with nick Suprateam Samantha, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, I'm sorry if not. Yeah, so I don't really get the question, so should we change or read? Is it like a feature request for IntelliJ, or is it something we should try right now?
No, I think if you run the Java app within IntelliJ, by just clicking on the one icon, you can actually pass arguments to run it.
Okay.
And I think, so I just did shift, and I searched for arguments. Is it coming here? No, but I think it's definitely coming when I do environment, because it should be at the same one. Oh, okay. Select configuration element. Oh, wait. Weird. So it was working before. Environment strings, maybe? Or settings. So, okay, so here I can, for instance, change path variables. Okay, not bad. But then there's also...
We also got a comment that IntelliJ IDEA is the biggest lifesaver. Thank you. That's what we are trying to do at JetBrains, to save lives, save time, make you productive, and let you enjoy the development. And I guess folks from Azure do this too.
Yeah, so here are the environment variables. So I just did shift and searched for environment variables, and then here you could add those, and here you could also, for instance, add VM options. So I hope that's one of the ones you were looking for. And here's also Mavens, and yeah, so I think I would go with that one.
Yeah, we actually have half a minute.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
so you do this way. I hope we answered the question, and we've got seconds to say many thanks to you for our amazing session. I hope you enjoyed it as I did.